Get your motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure. And whatever comes our way, yeah, darling, go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space. I like smoking lightning, heavy metal thunder, racing with the wind, and the feeling that I'm under. Yeah, darling, go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space. Like a true nature's child, we were born to be wild. We can climb so high, I never wanna die. Born to be wild. Born to be wild. Get your motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure. And whatever comes our way, yeah, darling, go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space. Like a true nature's child, we were born to be wild. We can climb so high, I never wanna die. Born to be wild. Born to be wild.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm here in Springer, New Mexico. I left Dalhart, Texas I tried to leave at 6 a.m. this morning. Story to tell there. Drove over to Springer, New Mexico, about 130 miles on the bike this morning. And it is, I guess it's 7 o'clock here now, because I moved into the mountain time zone. Yesterday, well, let me start out. This is the first time I've recorded myself. This is day 5 of my Iron Butt challenge to do all 48 states in 10 days. I really haven't recorded anything until now because, quite frankly, I wasn't sure that I had any chance of completing the challenge. But now here on day 5, I'm feeling like there's maybe at least a little chance that I can finish. Yesterday I stayed in a hotel just north of Little Rock, Arkansas. From there I rode northwest and went into Missouri, and then over into Kansas for a little while, and then down into Oklahoma. Basically rode the whole way across Oklahoma, and then down into the Texas Panhandle. As I was riding into the Texas Panhandle, I could see storms off in the distance, and probably the last 30 miles or so, there was quite a bit of lightning. I got really heavy rain for the last 5 miles of the trip into Dalhart, Texas. Kind of a mess. I stopped at one point and put the cover on the luggage for that sits on top of the trunk. By the time I got to the hotel, it had blown off and is now long gone. Got to the hotel, I was soaking wet, dripping in the lobby floor. Got a room, went into the room, changed into some dry clothes, and laid all my clothes out to dry. Um, uh, and then I decided to just take a quick, the nearest Quickie Mart was about a quarter of a mile down the road, and it was still not raining hard, but drizzling a little bit, and I decided to hop on the bike and ride down there. Well, first thing I noticed was that the check engine light was on, so that had me a little bit worried. I was hoping that it was just some water got into the electronics or whatever, and it was nothing, no big deal, but it kind of had me worried. Okay, this morning I went out, and I thought maybe I should check the oil just to make sure, and sure enough, the oil was low. I went back in and checked the manual, and it says, well, you're supposed to check it when it's warm. So I let the bike idle for about 5 minutes and checked the oil again, and it was actually on the low side, or it still is on the low side, but it is within the range on the dipstick, so I'm not too worried about that. And fortunately, the check engine light went back off this morning after I started it up. So I think it was just some dampness in the electronics. I guess the Hondas are pretty sensitive to the voltage, and I've had it before where the voltage on my battery was low, and even after I started it up, the check engine light stayed on for like a day. So I got out this morning. I was ready to leave at 6 o'clock. I knew that I had to get gas, so I loaded everything up on the bike, left my room key at the front desk, and rode off to the gas station. And well, the check engine light was off, but now the low tire pressure light was on. And it may be just because it was a little bit cooler last night with the rain. I think it got down to about 60 degrees during the night. Got to the gas station, filled up on gas, put some air in the tire. I have my little pump in the trunk, so I was able to do that pretty quickly and easily. Has me a little bit worried that there might be a slow leak in the tire. The tires, both of them are pretty new. I changed the rear one back in February when I had the bike serviced. So it's pretty new. It has now about 4,000 miles on it, just because of this trip. But I'll keep an eye on it. And if I do see a Honda dealership along the way somewhere, I would like to stop and get the oil changed and have them just do a once over on the tire. But anyhow, so I got the air in the tire, and was ready to get back on my bike, and I realized that I didn't have my seat cushion. I had taken it into the hotel room last night to dry out, and it was laying on the seat, and it was kind of invisible when I did my scan of the room to make sure I didn't leave anything behind. So ended up going back to the hotel, grabbing my seat cushion, and finally got underway. Turned on my headset and everything, and immediately I heard the low battery beep. And so just another thing I forgot to do last night. I forgot to plug in the headset to charge up the battery overnight. And then I was driving out of town and realized I forgot to turn on my tracking, so I'm using Spotzilla to track my route. But I did remember that within, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes of getting started, so I didn't miss much recording at all. But it was just one of those mornings. By the time I finally got on the road, it was 6:30 Central Time. Fortunately, coming into New Mexico, I gained an hour going into Mountain Time Zone, so it's still fairly early. But like I said, since I do have an extra hour today, if I happen to come across a Honda dealership, I would really like to stop in and see if they can do a quick oil change and check over the tire for me. But otherwise, I'm just here in New Mexico now. I'm 130 miles in today, hoping to average about 730 to 750, or hoping to make 730 to 750 miles today. Unless I do stop for some time at a dealership. I may not quite make it as far, but I'm just sitting here in a little city park, and I'm going to have a quick breakfast and get back on the road. See you next time. Well, yesterday I talked a little bit about what was going on with the bike, and so I thought I would just kind of give an update on that. So yesterday was day 5. Day 5 was driving from Dalhart, Texas, and I eventually ended up in Monticello, Utah. I had hoped to get to Green River, or if not quite as far as Green River, at least to Moab. But since kind of had a couple of issues with the bike and it was time for the routine oil change, I decided to just try to stop somewhere and have things taken care of. Well, since I was driving past Santa Fe, I tried calling a place in Santa Fe. They wouldn't do maintenance on Hondas. They did refer me to a place in Albuquerque, and I decided just to go ahead on down to Albuquerque and have it taken care of. It was about 24 miles each way out of the way, so an extra 48 miles that I hadn't planned on to go into Albuquerque, and then it ended up costing me about 2 hours until I sort of got down there and got into the shop and finally got the bike back. So bottom line is everything was fine. They checked over the tire, didn't see any nails or anything in the tire. So pressure was just probably going low because of changes in temperature and changes in elevation, and really hot day the day before going through Oklahoma. So I got the oil changed. Back on the road, everything was fine. I ended up stopping in Monticello, Utah. Just, hotels, motels are kind of expensive in Moab, so I stopped in Monticello. It was actually, it's a fine little town. I'd never been through there before. At the end of the day, I only ended up doing about 693. I'd been trying to do 725 to 750, just to sort of try to keep the mileage, try to do the miles now when the roads are pretty wide open and the speed limits are high, and have shorter days hopefully when I get back into the the Midwest and the North. So anyhow, everything was good. At the end of the day, I had done a total of 3,730 miles from Vermont to Monticello, Utah.
Like a wheel, gonna spin it. Nobody's gonna mess me around. Hey, Satan, paid my dues, playing in a
Well, it's the end of day 7, and I'm in a hotel room in Kellogg, Idaho. I started the morning in Lakeview, Oregon, and from there, well, start out with when I woke up this morning, it was 32 degrees, so it was rather cold. My plan was to ride south about, I think, 15 miles to the California border, and about another 15 miles south of that, there was supposed to be, or there is, a mercantile that was, according to Facebook, was supposed to be open at 8. Well, I rode down, got there about 7:45, waited around until 8, and it didn't look like anyone was going to show up. So I ended up riding about another 20 miles further south into California to get to a travel stop. Got my dated business receipt there, rode back up to Lakeview, and then continued north through Oregon. Rode through Oregon, really pretty countryside. Rode through several national forests, which I can't remember the names of all of them, and the nice intermontane basins between the mountains. Really pretty, kind of remote. I think there was one point going north of Lakeview. Its next service is 126 miles, so make sure you fill up on gas before you head out that way. Rode the whole way across Oregon, went into Washington State, rode up through Spokane, and then started, basically got on I-90 before Spokane, took I-90 and continued to the east, and so I ended up in Kellogg, Idaho tonight. I guess not much more to add. The plan for tomorrow is to continue riding back east. I think today was probably the farthest. I haven't actually measured it on a map, so I don't know. I think it was probably the farthest I'll be away from home in Shenandoah. And basically part of today and the next 3 days we'll all be riding back toward home. But tomorrow the plan is to ride through the rest of the Idaho Panhandle into Montana, pretty much ride across Montana, get into North Dakota, and I'll probably try to spend the night somewhere in western North Dakota. That would be a little over 700 miles, I believe. Okay, well, that's it. Good night. All right, let's see. I'm here at the end of day 8 in Bowman, North Dakota. My first time ever in North Dakota, so that's kind of exciting. I celebrated with a bison burger and a nice IPA tonight at the restaurant in the hotel here. I left from Kellogg, Idaho this morning at about 6 o'clock. It was kind of overcast and drizzling a little bit, low clouds on the mountains. Really beautiful area, though. I liked it a lot. I'd love to go back there someday. Drove from Idaho into Montana, drove across the entirety of Montana today. The high mountains in the Butte and Bozeman areas had some fresh snow on them from the last night or so. Also really beautiful areas. Love them a lot. It was kind of cool and rainy most of the day. It was in if it was drizzling, it tended to be in like the mid 40s. If the sun was popping out a little bit, it was in the low 50s. And I don't know how many different little downpours I hit. It didn't last. They didn't last very long. I didn't get soaked or anything until the kind of the very end when I got into North Dakota and was riding toward the town here. It started raining relatively hard, and it was probably about a good hour, the last hour of my ride. So I was fine all day until about the last hour. Then I started getting kind of cold, and I had my rain jacket on, but I had taken my rain pants off at lunchtime because the sun was kind of popping out, and I didn't put them back on. I probably should have. My jeans, at least from the knees down, were soaking wet, and I was kind of cold when I got here today. Just as far as some of the numbers, and sorry, let me look at the book. I did about 745 total miles today, and for the trip at the end of day 8, that totals 6,023 miles so far. Right now I have 1,336 miles left to go to cross the Ohio state line, which is where the challenge will end. And that means I need to average about 668 miles on each of the last 2 days. I will probably try to do a little bit more than that tomorrow, around 700 miles to somewhere in Iowa. And then hopefully have a slightly shorter last day. But it's pretty unbelievable. It's coming together. I did not expect the weather I got the last 2 days being cold like this. And it looks like I'll be going into like a crazy heat wave in the Midwest and the Northeast in the next couple of days. So as miserable as this was, I'll probably be wishing I was back in this when I get to the heat wave. All right, that's a wrap on day 8. Good night. Hey again, it's the end of day 9. I started in Bowman, North Dakota this morning. Rode from North Dakota down into South Dakota. Rode basically south across South Dakota, and then I just did a slight diversion and went into Wyoming. So I got Wyoming, I got South Dakota, rode the whole way across South Dakota, and then gosh, where did I ride? Yes, so I rode across South Dakota, rode into Minnesota, kind of well, nothing really bad, but I got off at exit 1 in Minnesota because I knew there was a gas station there. I got gas, got a receipt, and I looked at the receipt and it actually said South Dakota on it. And it was just because the place is so close to the border that the closest post office is in South Dakota, so their postal address is South Dakota. Glad I caught it. They sent me to another place about 4 miles down the road that actually had a regular gas station, and the receipt I got from them actually also said Minnesota. So got Minnesota, and then from there I rode down south. I got rode into Nebraska. So I got Nebraska, and then back across the border into Iowa, and now I'm about midway, almost midway, not quite, across Iowa, staying in a place called Fort Dodge. Pretty good day. It was chilly first thing this morning, about 45, but it warmed up throughout the day. It wasn't overcast. It wasn't raining at all. So by the end of the day, it was into the kind of the low 70s. I was able to just go with my short sleeve shirt and my riding jacket. Pretty long day. I covered 794 miles today, which is great because it gives me a little bit shorter day tomorrow. With the extra miles I've done throughout the first 9 days, it leaves me with 563 miles remaining for the end of the trip. Tomorrow's plan is basically to finish riding across Iowa, up into Wisconsin, and then across Illinois, Indiana, go into Michigan a little bit, and then ride across the Ohio border. And as soon as I get a receipt in the Ohio border, my challenge is officially over. I'll probably continue on because if I can put in another 100 miles or so tomorrow toward home, then it'll give me a shorter day riding the rest of the way home. I think that's about it. So I will see you again tomorrow. Hello again, everyone. It's officially the end of day 10, and I rode starting in Fort Dodge, Iowa. I rode up through Dubuque, Iowa, into Wisconsin, then back down and across Illinois. Sorry, I have to look. It's all starting to run together. Across Illinois, into Indiana, up into Michigan, ever so briefly. Back down into Indiana and across into Ohio. I finished the challenge with state number 48, which was Ohio, when I crossed the state line and got my official dated business receipt. It started out in the morning fairly cool in Iowa. I had my long sleeves and my heavy riding jacket on. Before lunch, I shed the long sleeves and I switched out the heavy riding jacket for my lighter riding jacket. Saw temperatures getting up into the low to mid 90s, especially across Indiana and Ohio. I'm spending the night here in the hotel just south of Toledo. As I was riding in, I had about 7 minutes left to get to the hotel, and the skies opened up and it just poured rain for about 5 minutes. So I got soaked. I didn't have enough time to get rain gear on or anything, and I just kept riding at that point, knowing that I was going to be here in a few minutes. So everything is drying out on the heater in the hotel room right now. So tomorrow I have just under 500 miles left to get back home. So my plan is pretty much to do what I've been doing, and that is get up around 5 o'clock, get everything ready, packed up, hopefully on the road by 6, if not a little bit before, and try to get a couple hours in before I stop somewhere and have some breakfast, and given the heat in the Northeast right now, the Midwest and the Northeast, I kind of want to get a few hours in before it gets too warm. Nice thing about tomorrow is sort of once I get through Ohio and into Pennsylvania, I'll be a lot more familiar with some of the roads and some of the places. So pretty much half of the day is going to be in going down through Breezewood and West Virginia and Virginia. So I'm pretty familiar with that part of the route. It'll be nice riding somewhere that I'm familiar with it for once now. I think that's about it for tonight. So everyone have a good day, and thank you for watching. Good night.
But my heart's of gold.